Good afternoon and welcome to the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center. My name is Lauren Bailey and I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator, and I'm joined today by Rob Wamstad, a longtime member of the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center. And we are going to be talking today about supporting the arts and purchasing art. So we have a few questions, so we'll just jump on into those.
Pleased to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. So, since you've been a longtime member, I'm curious to know what supporting the arts means to you.
Well, art is personal, but I think it's also important for the peninsula. I believe in supporting local businesses, organizations. You know, I think they add to the value of our peninsula. And so I think definitely the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center is a quality operation that is in that group. So I also think that we need to assure that this is sustainable, that good organizations are sustainable. So that's my support, which maybe is further than just the art itself.
Thank you. That's a beautiful answer, and we appreciate that. And you do support the small businesses and the little smaller organizations, that do contribute to our community. Takes a village, they say.
It definitely does. Well, yes, that's true.
So you purchased multiple pieces of art from the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center, and we were interested in knowing what value you've received in purchasing these pieces from the Fine Arts Center.
Well, maybe I'll back up a little bit. And that what first drew me into the Art Center was Webster Woods. It was a natural when guests or family came to go up to Hurricane Ridge and then to come back down here and have lunch in Webster Woods Sculpture Park. So, and the kids just find it amazing to wander through the woods and see the pieces of sculpture, especially the salmon or the pie, a lot of picture taking. So that's what's been important. I call the peninsula my 10th permanent home. I've followed construction throughout the United States, and there's something really unique about Webster Woods. I lived above the Seattle Sculpture Garden while it was being built, and yes, it's big and it's interesting and it's kind of fun, but there's just really something special I find about Webster Woods. So I didn't want to jump over that, and that's what first drew me in.
Thank you.
But more recently, the development here in the center itself, the outreach, the artists, the exhibits, the concepts have broadened my interest in what the Art Center is all about. And so I really appreciate the people that take the time and the effort here to support the Art Center.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
but I guess then to go on to my own art itself, but Port Angeles Fine Arts Center is small enough to be personal and to be able to interact with the artists, your art bites, and the various programs that you have. But it's important for me to connect to the art pieces. And I see art, but then sometimes one just kind of picks up on me. And one of the ones that I bought recently was called Three of a Kind by Jan Snow, artist. And what that had in it was three birds, little birds. I was a docent at the National Seashore above San Francisco. And one of the things that we covered were the plovers there. And these are definitely little plovers on the beach. So I've put that right next to my sink, and every morning I look at it. And so it makes me feel good to wake up that way. I also bought a piece here recently called Borders by Steve Bells. And what that is, it's a matter of circles enclosing pieces of all older, and then how the circles interrelate. So that's more of a philosophical piece that I have, and it reminds me of how we relate to each other and to people. So there needs to be a personal connection somewhere that, we've bought art throughout the world, and usually the direct connection to the artist or an event is what's important to me. And so we're not necessarily collecting things for dollar value, we're collecting because they mean something to us.
For the sentiment and the memory.
Well, the memories and, and taking us forward, remembering who we are and where we're going.
Thank you, that's beautiful.
So that's pretty much, we have a number of pieces, and we've missed out on pieces.
Some of them go fast.
Well, not just fast, but in other locations, we've come close to wondering about, well, maybe we should get this and maybe not. There was a famous book illustrator in San Francisco where we lived for a number of years, and we'd come out of the opera one night and had walked past the window, and there were a couple of young children on swings, and we looked at it and we thought, boy, did we really like that? But at that time we decided, no, we better not. Well, unfortunately, the artist died within 3 or 4 months after that, which made it a very valuable painting. Which isn't maybe the best way to look at it, but we liked the piece itself, and there's been other pieces that we've passed up. So there's a balance always.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also there's a balance of wall space.
That's something that I run into at home, yes. Yeah. Great, well thank you for sharing about your connection to purchasing art and what that's meant to you in your life. So our last question is, can you tell us a bit about why you would encourage others to consider investing in building a personal collection as a way to support the arts and artists?
Well, I think it's important for the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center to continue its outreach and the good works here, and by supporting the center, that also supports the artists and gives them an outlet. So I think that's important, and then to make this operation sustainable. I know that's more of an issue with your board and that, but it's the staff, and I think now there is an outstanding, competent staff that keeps the programs moving and keeps it interesting for all of us. So I think that it allows us to expand our own minds and our hearts with the art that comes forward, plus the excitement and interest of everything new that's coming on.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, it does take a village to make all that happen. And,
it does.
Yeah, and our volunteers and board and staff, and we work together, but if we didn't have a community to share it with, it wouldn't be anything. So it's beautiful to have us all work together to celebrate the arts in our community.
It's a good operation, and we appreciate what you do.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being a part of it, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, I'm glad to be